the entire block had been taken up with ladder trucks and search, fire and rescue and all the bit.
We got a call from one of our neighbors and said, hey, the church is on fire. And I looked out our back window through our sliding glass door and we saw smoke just pouring out of the eaves.
I'm sure that there will be some things beyond the insurance that we will need that we probably won't find out until everything is redone.
I really don't think there were words. It was not something I ever expected to experience, and so words didn't come right away. It was just trying to absorb the fact that it was a reality and not a bad dream and not a TV show or anything like that.
My first thoughts were, is it real? How can that be? Then we'd gotten a call from Pastor Mary about it and thought, well, it's probably small. Then we got a call from our neighbor who lives behind the church, and Dave called him back and he said, it's really bad. So that's when we headed over that Sunday night to see what was going on, and it was hard to see. But lots of credit to the Tacoma police and fire departments.
Well, shocked first, and of course that first initial reaction is, okay, you serve the community and this is the thanks you get for it, but that didn't last long, thankfully.
But one of the first things that I did ask one of the people in charge was if anybody was hurt. Was there a body in the building? Once I learned that nobody had been hurt, then I was able to kind of switch, and I call it pragmatic numb mode, which I think mothers and emergency workers and all sorts of people figure out. You do what's necessary, you take care of the business, have your meltdown later.
Underneath.
Still haven't had a chance to do the meltdown thing.
Gutted out the entire kitchen.
Now, can you tell whether the cupboards are salvageable?
Nothing in here was salvageable.
Oh my God.
Nothing. Nothing in here was salvageable.
One of our council members and I showed up at 8 o'clock that morning. We knew the fire inspector would be there to be able to walk through what wasn't hot anymore, So we were there from 8 in the morning till about 7 at night. It almost felt like sitting Shiva or having a wake. And people from the congregation came by to kind of come absorb the reality. People from the neighborhood came by to offer to help. This is what happens when community comes together out of love. All these volunteers are from our user groups who share our building space.
Well, I think we had so much outreach right after the fire that we got more of a feeling of how important this location is to the community.
It is for us, and it was surprising when I came out with the fire, all the neighbors had showed up and really were aware of the church and talked about it, and definitely it's a fixture in this neighborhood.
There have been a couple of apparently random arsons in Tacoma in the last several, in the weeks previous to that. I feel like it was random. I don't feel like the congregation specifically was targeted. I don't feel like I was specifically targeted. There have been no threats or nothing like that. I just think somebody felt like playing with matches. And if he really had wanted to hurt the church, he would have lit the sanctuary on fire. And he didn't. I feel like, and continue to feel like, the love and the goodwill that's been expressed far outweighs any malice that may have been intended. There's been way more love than hate in this.
Definitely been a change in my life. That first week or so was very hectic with all the phone calls, connecting with everyone. Once we decided to that we would use Service Master as our restoration group, they sort of took over, and they've been great.
The air conditioning unit, 4 or 5 years ago, we had 2 units here that were stolen. And so this is a fairly recent replacement, and now it needs to be replaced again. Our feeding program on Wednesdays and our food pantry, and there's been ESL classes with our deaconess, and some affiliated ministries with Community Cares Connection, which is affiliated with the church but its own program. So so much now, I don't know if it's put on hold, but it certainly needs to be rethought, reconfigured, more question marks than answers at this point.
I've been kind of excited thinking about the possibilities, and that we can rebuild and make the building suited for modern ministry, because it's kind of a building made for the 50s, and we can, redo our space and make it more suited for ministry now and to serve the neighborhood that we're in.
I hope that we will eventually be able to call our church our new church, newly remodeled. We're going to face a whole new building, and it's going to be great. It'll be what we want. It'll be up to code. It'll be. I hope people will want to come see it.
The people that I serve in my congregation have such a large part in my heart as fellow beloveds of God. They are my family, my friends, my co-workers in ministry. I'm not sure there's words to express how deep that goes. This congregation and the other small congregation I serve, I consider like Mighty Mouse, tiny with big impact, with big power in the community in terms of touching lives and making a difference. God works good in all things for those who love the Lord and are called according to His purposes. I believe we're all called according to God's purposes. And I don't believe God caused the fire. There's a reason for everything. Sometimes the reason is people just don't behave well. But I do believe God has, from the day after the fire, been at work for good in this. God is providing opportunities for us to build on what we've already done. God has worked in a more ever deepening partnership with United Lutheran and Bethlehem Lutheran, our partner parish here in Tacoma. Bonds have become closer and tighter and more loving, and I believe God is working good even in this, because we love Him and He loves us, and we are all called according to His purposes.